We welcome you into Morning Moments with Jesus on this Friday edition of our devotion. Today's word to us comes from Jeremiah chapter 1. It's a very familiar verse to a lot of people, but this morning I just want to let you know that God knows you. He knows the inside and out of you. And sometimes we get into a mindset like Jeremiah did when the Lord was speaking to him about his calling and the way he was fashioned and made. And Jeremiah began to give these excuses, as we know. And sometimes we get caught up in giving God excuses as to why we can't do certain things. But the Lord comes to us this morning and says, "Don't you think I know you? When I ask you to do something, when I draw you into a particular season in your life, whereby I want you to be useful and productive, don't you think I know your strengths and your weaknesses?" Listen to what he said to Jeremiah in chapter 1, verses 4 and 5. This is Jeremiah reflection upon his conversation with the Lord. He said, "Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you. And I ordained you to be a prophet unto the nations." And we won't be able to claim that entire verse because the Lord has not called most of us to be a prophet unto the nations. But we can claim the part of the verse that says this: "Before I formed you, I knew you." And that's what the Lord is speaking to us this morning, maybe particularly to you in your situation today, that before God ever formed you, He knew you. Now let's be clear of our interpretation of that versus God's. We can just know somebody's name and we say, "Oh yeah, I know them." But the truth is, we don't really know them. We don't know them from the inside out. We don't know all there is to know about a person. But when God says, "Before I formed you, I knew you," you can believe He knows you. He knows every aspect of your life, both good and bad, both strong and weak. He knows us better than we know ourselves. And so when God knows us that way, and He calls us into a situation, or He creates a life for us, He knows who He has called to do that particular thing. And I must be bold enough to say this morning to somebody that, because God is pressing it upon my heart, that God created you for more than what you're doing right now. God did not create us just to get up and go to work, come home and piddle around the house a little bit, watch some TV, go to bed, get up and do the same thing tomorrow. God created us for more than that, more than just a mundane existence. God has created a wonderful environment for us to succeed and to be all we can be in life. And yes, to fulfill a destiny and a calling and a purpose that He has placed on everybody's life. So be bold enough to step out on faith and do those things that you know God has created you to do, has given you a burden and a passion to do those things. Go out and begin to do them, because God knows who He called. God knows the way He made you. And God will bless your efforts, because before He ever formed you, He knew exactly what He was doing. I speak a blessing over you today, that you know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by the Master of creation. You be safe, you be strong, and you be blessed today, knowing that God has got His perfect hand on you, and He is molding you and fashioning you into the exact vessel He needs for this moment in time. Lord's will, we'll see you back here again Monday. Until then, I pray you have a great and wonderful day. And remember this all day long: before God formed you, He knew you. Amen.